Hi guys, and welcome back to Wardle. As you'll see from the channel name and some of the social media, the handle has now changed from Wardle Road to Wardle Restorations. Now, I wanted to keep the logo as it was. I quite liked it and the design, but I felt that Wardle Road, that was more based on the double O gauge layout that I started on this channel. However, moving over to what the channel is predominantly about now, which is the restoration side of things, I felt like Wardle Restorations sort of summarises the channel a little bit better and just fits in a bit more with what we have going on here. So, what's today's video about? Now, firstly, it was that little introduction there, just explaining some of the changes on the social media side of stuff. But the second thing, which obviously from the thumbnail and title, is another addition to the Wardle, I was nearly say Wardle Road there, the Wardle Restoration fleet. And that is this Esso tanker. Now, this wasn't part of the plan. Well, I wasn't planning on getting an additional wagon. However, the owning group of that and a couple of other bits on site, which I'm not going to get, but that particular item was of interest to me when I first joined here. And the current owner, due to ill health, is selling up, which posed the opportunity that either I purchased it or it'd end up at the scrapyard. So the railway negotiated a fee with them, one I was happy with, and yeah, I've ended up purchasing it. So in today's video, we're going to take a little look around the new addition, try and give you a bit of history on it. Although I don't know too much about fuel tankers, so if you do know anything about this that I haven't mentioned, please do leave some information in the comment section down below. So that's enough rambling on. If you guys do enjoy these videos, please do hit the thumbs up. As I said, any feedback, please leave it in the comment section down below. And let's go and take a look at this new wagon. Right, so we've moved on a few days now from the introduction clip, and it's dry enough to actually come and film parts of the tanker, just to give you guys a little introduction into what this project is. And as you can see, a lot of the paint on this side has actually started to break away already. Now, as some of the paint has been removed, and I've just gone here with a sanding disc, it's given me an idea of some of the colours that was actually on this tank before. Now, as you know, as I may have mentioned at the start, it was actually built in 1939, so at the start of World War II, and it would have gone into its wartime livery, which, as you can see here, is the grey. I'm guessing the yellow is some kind of primer or undercoat, although that only seems to run up to this far edge here, so I'm not sure why there isn't any of that on the end. And then the other bit, which I'll show you a close-up of in a second, is actually the red chassis. So I'll put a picture on screen now of what the wartime livery would have looked like. I haven't actually got any pictures of this particular tanker in wartime livery, but I'll put an example up of what that would have looked like. And then, of course, more recently, I think there's a photo on, I can't remember the chap's name. He's got a website with all the pictures of various wagons and things on it. And there's a picture on there of the tanker at Trafford Park, and that is in the Esso livery. Obviously, after World War II, it was then sold on, all their tank wagons were sold on to various companies, and this one ended up at Esso, and that would have been the black livery that you can see on the top here of what's left of it, with the Esso stars and then the Esso writing on this side, and at the other end of the tank as well. And then it would have had its unique ID number 1855 at the top and tail of each end of the tank. So, having a look at the chassis here, now these axle boxes are very similar, in fact, to the ones that I have on the brake van, in that by undoing these two nuts here, the bottom half actually falls out, and then in here you'll have the pad with some strings that sit in a pool of axle box oil, and then obviously you just top them up from the front here. Now, I don't know what the state of these are, as this hasn't moved in a very long time, but that is a job we can come to later on down the line. Now, as this is an unfitted wagon, there's no through air pipes or vac pipes on this, which means there's nothing particularly to worry about on the underside. And actually, having a look at the chassis itself, it is in really good condition for its age. The only thing that you have got underneath here is some of the pipes that actually are connected to the top tank. Now, a couple I have tried to open myself, but I think they're pretty seized up, so that's going to be, again, something we have to look at a later date. I did manage to get one off on the other side, and having taken that off, a rather strange, horrific smelling substance came out of it. So I've decided probably best to leave that for another day. I think the best thing to do with that would be to open the hatch on the top, chuck a hose pipe in and see if I can flush out any of the rubbish that is sitting at the bottom of the tank, if there is anything in there, or whether it's actually just stuck in the pipe underneath. So looking down this end of the tank wagon, as this project isn't at the forefront of the things I'm getting on with down here at the moment, the main thing to do with some of the peeling paint was basically to remove any places where water can get lodged behind and cause any further sort of rust and corrosion. But most of the water that's been collecting has actually been on the chassis itself rather than the tank. I'm quite fortunate that any water on the tank has just kind of run off, and any of the larger pieces of flaky paint just sort of fall off on their own. So as I said, this side is a lot more flaky than the other side. The other side, most of the paint has actually fallen off. But yeah, that again will be a matter of sanding it back and giving it a fresh coat of paint at some point in the future. So just taking a look at these pipes underneath here. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'd managed to get one of them open. It's actually the one on the opposite side of the tanker. All I've been able to do here is get this right angled pipe just bent down slightly just to get any water that was sitting in there out. But the actual valve itself, as you can see just back there, I have tried a spanner on that and I just can't get it to move. So we'll have to deal with that at a later date. Now, looking just below that here, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but the wood between the mechanism that goes to, or the metal plates that go to the brake blocks, is all actually still in really good condition. There's no rot on that at all, which is fantastic. Obviously, you've got this sort of green algae substance that's been sitting over a lot of this side of the tank, but that's because the sun hasn't really been able to get to it. But like I said earlier, again, what I've been doing along here is just removing any gaps or anything where water might sit, especially like there, you can see it's still quite wet, and just to stop any further corrosion on this side of the tank. So like I mentioned on the other side, as you can see, I'm not sure how well it'll be on this camera because the sun's shining on it, but I'd say 90% of the paint above the cross strap here has actually fallen off on its own, leaving only a couple of bits here and a couple of the bits around the overhead electric warning signs. But yeah, this is what I mean by it's not going to be the worst job in the world, as once a lot of this paint's come off and we get a little bit of warmer weather, it'll just be a matter of keying the surface, taking it back a little bit and putting some anti-corrosive primer on, and then covering it with a few top coats of whatever livery we eventually decide to go for. Now, as you can see down here, there is the remnants of one of the stars. So I'm actually going to get Mick in engineering here. He's taken some measurements of this and he's going to make up a stencil so I can either paint it on, or perhaps he might make up some sort of stickers, some vinyl stickers that could then go over the top of the paint. I haven't decided how we're going to do it yet, but if you think which idea might be best, whether paint or vinyl, do let me know in the comment section down below. So I mentioned on the other side that I was able to get the cap off this side. It's just got a sort of square head to this cap, so I was able to get a spanner on there, and it came off fairly easily. And upon taking that off, a load of rather strange smelling substance came out the bottom of this, but I'm not entirely sure whether that's because the valve for this side is open and whatever was in the rest of the tank has drained out, or whether this was just clogged up from a long time ago. So as I mentioned, the easiest thing will be to do is to put a hose pipe in the top, and then obviously if it runs out here, I know that this valve on this side has been left open. And then to the left here, you can see where one of the builder's plates originally was, but as I mentioned, they've gone walkabout, so they'll have to be remade up. Like on the other side, what we're doing at the moment is just coming along these gaps here and removing any sort of flaky paint that is holding water, just to prevent any further corrosion on the chassis. But doing a sort of general inspection of the whole thing, the chassis really isn't bad at all, to be honest with you. I don't think this is going to be the worst job in the world, but it's not something that I have to worry about anytime soon, as I've got plenty to be getting on with. But the main thing obviously was to make sure we kept this tanker at the railway. So I'm not going to leave this open like this. I will put the cap back on, but yeah, not entirely sure what that substance was. I probably don't want to know what it was, but hopefully once we can get a hose in there and flush it out, we'll get a better idea of the state of the actual pipe work and the drainage mechanics on here, and work out if there's any issues or leaks there. So just looking at the end of the tank wagon here, as you can see, the coupling hooks are actually missing what I'm assuming would have been 3 links, although I have got a spare couple of instanters, and I may actually have a spare couple of screw links as well, so there's no issue with replacing them. But again, they can be added at a later date. I've yet to try and open that valve there. Again, the rest of them on the wagon are pretty sealed shut, so I can't see anything coming out of that anytime soon. And just to give you guys an idea, the actual top half of this end piece has got paint pretty well stuck to it, whereas the bottom half of it hasn't. Whereas as soon as you go around the corner there, the top half has got no paint and the bottom half has. So that must just be the way the sun is hitting it as the sun rises and sets. But yeah, a lot of work, time consuming, but nothing too serious. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, I wasn't planning on acquiring another wagon, but sometimes it's just the way these things happen. In order to secure its future here, someone had to purchase it, and it was a reasonable amount, so I thought, why not? It's a long-term project, and it's not deteriorating too rapidly, even though the paint work says otherwise. But hopefully once we've had another reshuffle around here, we're quite tight for space, but hopefully once things are moved about and we're able to get this out at some point in the future, the sun will be able to get to this side of it and dry out a lot of the stuff that the sun hasn't been able to get to so far. And then over the next few months, or once we get some slightly warmer weather, start taking it, stripping it back section by section, and at least getting some anti-corrosive prime on there, just to stop it from getting any worse. But yeah, I think that gives you guys an overall view of the tank wagon and its condition at the moment. So guys, I think that just about wraps up this introduction video for the latest acquisition to the Wardle Restorations fleet. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's only a quick one just to sort of show you guys, well, A, what I've got, B, why I've got it, and C, what the future plans are. As I mentioned many times throughout this video, it's very much going to be a project on the back burner, getting to do little bits of it as and when. But the main thing was A, securing it to keep it here at the railway for the long term, and B, to prevent it from getting any more rusty than it already is. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, please do hit the thumbs up. If you know anything about these tank wagons or their history or anything like that, please do let me know in the comment section below. It's always good to find out little bits more about where these have been and what they were used for. If this is your first time here, please do subscribe. And of course, if you want to get your hands on the Wardle Road 2024 calendar, drop me an email. I'll put the 2 email addresses I use on the screen now. But make sure you get in obviously before the next year, as I'm going to order them all in bulk, and then there'll be some available down the Colne Valley Railway as well over the Christmas period. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one, whatever that may be.